Cuckoo everyone, this is Tatiana Spiteri of Blogovision. Thank you for being here. It's only a couple of weeks that we are going to see the first rehearsals of Eurovision 2025, and that means it's time to talk about who can potentially qualify from each semifinal. Usually I get to guess about 8 or 9 of each, 10 finalists, and I think that is quite a good statistics. What do you think, guys? Let us take a look at the first semifinal today. We are talking about first semifinal of Eurovision 2025 in Basel, Switzerland. Who will make it? Who is my on the H? Maybe who is definitely not a qualifier this time, even though maybe they are not so bad as artists, but the song just doesn't deliver. So let's talk about it. Let's do this. Thank you for being here. Subscribe if you still have not, and let's go. And we'll hit it off with, in order of following in the running order. I will be naming my qualifiers. That is 100% qualifiers from my point of view. And the first one in there is we're going Iceland, Poland. It's Poland. Because even though it is not my type of song or music per se, Justina delivers like, oh my god, it's like everything Eurovision wants. It is everything we're longing for. The level of class, mastery, and just like, doing everything top notch is out of this world. It's like it's everything we even potentially want to ask for on the stage of Eurovision. And even if, it's not going to be like super high budget, she knows with her crew, with her dancers, with the poses, warrior queen, whatnot, how to make it stand out, how to make it memorable. And you do remember that appearance, that, beautiful, beautiful crow like black hair. You do remember the dance moves, even though sometimes a bit funny for some, or a bit too like gym, a bit too athletic maybe. I love it overall. I mean, the whole package is definitely deserving to go through. And being like 30 years after her first participation back in Eurovision, this makes it the longest time somebody ever participated in Eurovision again, somebody ever made this important comeback. People are like 1-2 years following their Eurovision participation, like, oh, I don't think I'll ever participate again. Or maybe they go back in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But this is 30 years, like the amount of, the distance in between may discourage many people from participating, but not Justina, not our Gaia goddess. Do you guys think she'll also go through? Do you think it's a qualifier? Hands down. Yeah, let me know in the comments. We are moving on to the second 100% qualifier in my point of view, and that is, of course, Estonia. That's, of course, Estonia, because Tommy Cash, even though there are a lot of lovers and haters, but guess what? You don't vote for the ones you hate. There is no like hate vote in Eurovision. There is only a like, and that's all. There is only a, like top, the creme de la creme that you think must go to the final. And I think there are enough people in this world, who will want to see this repeated in the final, because Tommy Cash is like, despite maybe looking a bit sort of, I don't know, let's call it trying to look too arrogant or like stone-faced, he's super charismatic, he is lovable, and he knows, how to make you long for more, more. In the midnight hour, she cried more. Exactly. And we want more. What? Espresso macchiato. Let us move on to my next 100% qualifier, and that is Sweden and our Now, this might be the song that you can get a little bit tired of as you listen to it again and again. And this might not be a grower, like some of the songs. For example, the Polish song grows on you, while the Swedish song might be a little bit like, fading away with time. But the majority of Eurovision viewers, see it for the first time in semifinal one. And then there is only one more, view in the final. And that's it. Like, you do not have time to kind of stop loving the song being a casual Eurovision viewer. Funny and simple moves are always, they're the best, ultimate best dance package in Eurovision. And like funny song reminds a bit of Trenoleto, yeah, like Hey Ho, Let's Go, from Moldova back then. It reminds of so many fun entries that let's remember that not many people even believed Moldova would be like that high. While I was saying like this is top 10, this is top 10, this is like so catchy, even though I personally didn't feel like this is the song that I would normally listen to. So Kai's song, is not exactly the song that I would listen to, but the whole concept, the work behind it, the staging. This will definitely be men sitting on their benches in a sauna. And even though fire is not allowed, I heard in this Eurovision, God knows why, maybe some venue restrictions, but it will not stop them from having a good time and helping us have a good time. Those who saw it live in Sweden when there was a national selection said that the audience were all on their feet, like they couldn't even sit still when this was playing. And that tells me that I don't care whether it wins Eurovision this year or not, but this is a qualifier. This is a sure, sure, sure qualifier. And we're moving on. And next in line, oh yeah, my God, like Portugal following Sweden, it's just like, yeah, they will go home, unfortunately. And next in line, right after Sleepy, let's call it what it is Sleepy Portugal. I do not hate the artist, I just think the song is really, I'm sorry, boring this time, But let's move on to my next qualifier, and that is definitely Norway. I've been saying it for so long, despite what my people or bloggers or whatever might think. Norway is easily qualifying. Norway is gonna become this kind of a first crush of Eurovision for many Eurovision viewers. This is gonna be a teenage crush. This is, in my previous video reaction to Norway, I asked people watching my reaction to share in the comments like, are you guys like 20 plus, 50 plus? And many wrote like, I'm 50 plus and I love the song. So it's not only appealing to younger generation, it also appeals to us, like regular, like many years, a long time, hardcore veteran Eurovision viewers. And yeah, I see it qualifying easily. It's a full package. This year is like, I don't know what happened, it's full of male kind of bop bangers with dance breaks. But in this case, the dance break is natural. In this case, it suits it absolutely perfectly. And he's just such a good, such a lovable guy, such a good dancer, such a, confident performer on stage. He's so young. And for his age, OMG, and talk about charisma. Talk about charisma. He is just so absolutely lovable. You'll watch the card, this postcard from each country, and that's already it. You're in. But also, the song is fun. It wasn't my favorite in Norwegian selection, but it is fun and it grows on you. And you definitely want to rewatch the whole thing. I think it gives me the vibes of Luca Honey from Switzerland a few years ago, when it's like the whole press center, I remember, was like jumping around. Everybody was rooting for Luca Hani, and even though some were a bit disappointed maybe that the jury didn't support it too much, but people gave it so much love that it was enough for Luca to make it to the fourth place. He came fourth, and I'm proud of my man. Let us move on to my next sure qualifier, and that is the opener of the second part of the first semifinal. That is Belgium. Yes, baby. Red Sebastian is there to stay. To stay and to slay. Yeah, it is not an easy song to sing along. I will repeat that. It is not an easy song, to sing along, but it doesn't have to be to progress to the final and to do well. I think when people are like doubting his chances to qualify, they underestimate how like polished, how sort of memorable, and maybe red is not your favorite color, but Red Sebastian will make you love red. And the whole thing about his performance, it's just so well thought out. The team behind it and himself made it stand out even in the national selection to an extent that I said like, there is no competition, there is no competition. He is winging it right here, right now. Like everybody else can just pack and go home. And I think Eurovision will definitely appreciate it too. He is likable enough. He is lovable enough, just like a Norwegian performer, maybe a bit less than Kyle, but still he's lovable enough, maybe, on the level of Tommy Cash as well, yeah, for you to want to see him again, for you to want to hear these beautiful high pitched vocals again. Like, I still cannot believe how this young guy has like such vocal precision. Cotton Candy Haze, that's where I want to stay, and I think he will stay in Eurovision for the grand final, and he'll do relatively well. I think the jury will love it. They will love it because he's super young and talented, and opening this new, gift to the world, with Gustav behind his back being his music teacher. The song itself might not be that like wow, however, the whole thing with the high pitches, with the beautiful stunning vocals, it definitely has a wow factor. It has a wow factor for sure. So I'm moving to my next 100% qualifier, and that is Albania. Even though here, guys, in every Eurovision there is a song or two that I don't personally relate to, or you don't personally relate to, and you're like, why is everybody believing in it? Why does everybody think it will qualify? It's not exactly my cup of tea. I do not relate to something folky electronic in it. I do not relate maybe to the appearance, to the visual charisma. I still love the artists who became the runner-up in the Albanian selection, but I still believe that Albania has what it takes to qualify, and how well it will do in the final, we'll see. Somehow, I do not see it in top five, but I do believe it's a strong entry, and the vocals are good. The overall, like kind of red again, red Sebastian, red color coming strong this time is quite appealing to many. And so, yeah, I know how many Albanians, there are in Europe altogether. The Albanian diaspora everywhere is huge. So let's not underestimate that. We're moving on to the Netherlands, and that's my next qualifier. La 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 vie. How can such a catchy song not go to the final? Like, how can it not? Just full stop right there. Period. This is qualifying hands down easily. Will probably be one of the most loved songs from this first semifinal. I think it is actually my favorite song in this semifinal. Can I just say that out there? Yes, it is my favorite. Yeah, it is my favorite song in this semi-final. I do love Estonia. I do love Tommy Cash. I do love Norwegian entry. I like Kyle, absolutely, the whole performance. I love Red Sebastian too. I'm rooting for him. But I believe that Netherlands will give us something like so simple yet effective that many Eurovision fans, especially like me, kind of like long-time Eurovision fans, like will have this kind of flashback, throwback to the most kind of catchy songs of Eurovision, to the catchiest, the like the most banging, I don't know, the most vibing songs of Eurovision, like in its simplicity, even though the lyrics are really really simple, yeah, and in its simplicity and different language, use French and English in this like overall appeal. It is such a candy, it is such a candy, and the guy can move. Claude moves, OMG. Yeah, like when I look at his chest moves, I go like, man, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? I'm a dancer. I want to get some, chest move workshop from you. That was like, I don't know, like crump, or what was that? That was something just hip hopish, I don't know, locking, popping, fun, that we're definitely going to see also on the stage of Eurovision. Maybe the part with dancing will be a bit diminished. Maybe his dancers will do more work than him, because he has to concentrate on singing. In the music video, you can do whatever you want, but on Eurovision stage, you have to focus on singing as well, and more than on dancing, obviously. So I do think that they might play it down just a little bit, but at the same time, this is not going to be a low-key performance. No way. This is going to be hot, 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 and this is going to be memorable and appealing to, I think, each category, like to each age group. And my last sure, 100% sure qualifier, for now we're talking about 100% in my mind qualifiers from the first semi, that is Cyprus. Even though, again, the song is not exactly my cup of tea by Theo, but I think it will be conceptual. And Cyprus knows what it's doing. And the staging from Cyprus almost never fails. We remember Eleni Fureira. Last year's Celia Capsis, it never disappoints, like, and Cyprus knows how to make it memorable, how to make it stand out. And I believe this time they definitely will again. Let's see what happens. So I am moving on to the three countries that I point out to myself, yes, that for me are most probably qualifying, but I have a little bit of a doubt. We will see. So of these three, definitely two will qualify. Which ones? Time will show. Now, the first one that I'm, like possibly most likely qualifying, it's Ukraine for me. Not because, I don't believe that their staging will be good or something, but although I don't know how they're going to stage that out. That is like a mix of a rock, crossover genre performance. And these band songs are kind of usually more difficult to stage interestingly. So the staging is one thing I'm concerned about. Second is that the song is not an immediate, like it doesn't have an immediate likability kind of effect. Like probably it has grown on people who have listened to it for a while, because I only listened to it a couple of times, and for me it didn't grow on me, and I kind of dropped it at that. There are certain parts in the song that are melodic, that are very memorable as well. And of course, knowing how many Ukrainians there are all over Europe, that will help them maybe qualify. I do think. And let's not forget that Ukraine has a 100 ranking, yeah, for qualification in all the years that they have participated in Eurovision. Ukraine is the only country that has never like broken this, thread of qualification. So far, they have always qualified. Will this be the case that they won't? I don't know. And probably they have to work a lot on the staging as well to deliver. My next possible qualifier and most probable qualifier, I hope it's a qualifier, it's Azerbaijan. Because of all the rock songs in this Eurovision, and I'm a rock person, I'm a rock and metal soul, alternative soul. Check out my website, Alter Rock, if you still haven't. Azerbaijan is my favorite rock entry this year, because they sound like a mix of, I don't know, some kind of Justin Timberlake meets soft rock, soft alternative rock. And the vocals are fine. They are high pitched, maybe not to every taste. So I don't know. Maybe for some people it will be very low key, but it is not as sleepy as Portugal for sure. It is not a sleepy entry. I think it's a very kind of vibe entry. And I want to vibe to it. I don't know how Azerbaijan is going to stage it. Again, as I said, with Ukraine, it's the same story. It's like, again, a rock song, but it might be niche for some people. And if you don't stage it well, which is hard to do for so many people on stage, like kind of busy with their instruments, although they're not really playing except for vocals, live vocals. But I want to see, yeah, how this plays out. I hope Azerbaijan will break its streak of non-qualification recently and manages to qualify to the final. Fingers crossed. And right next, after Azerbaijan goes San Marino. It's also the second song after Italian song of Big Five. After Lucio Corsi, San Marino is coming out. So Italian fans will still be there. They will still be watching. They will be attached. They will definitely tune in for Lucio Corsi. And then, hey, tutta l'Italia, tutta l'Italia, tutta l'Italia. Hey. 2, 3, 4. And I think they, not only Italy actually, yeah, Italy as well will support it for sure. But do not forget Tommy Cash too. Italy might give its 12-pointer to Estonia this time. Oh my god, he has such a following of old ladies, let's call it this way, of elderly fans, female fans in Italy. Have you seen that video? Check it out. Espresso macchiato, 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 por favore. Now, San Marino staging is the only question here. Otherwise, the song is great. San Marino has a great chance of qualification this time. I know not many countries do vote for San Marino every year, and their best result so far has been Serhat's Say No, 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 which wasn't a super standout song. This is such a catchy kind of chorus. Maybe not the verses, but the chorus will keep you engaged. I'm not a fan of those three vocalists just standing like, stones and singing like a wall, but I do think that there might be some staging potential. Of course, he's not doing some turntables or whatnot on stage. This is only live in terms of vocals, not the music part of it. There is nothing for him to really physically do there, so he uses this time, to just to cheer, to lure us in, to dance along. And it might work. It might work after this kind of quiet Azerbaijan. The San Marino song might be like making everybody go, hey, this is where like it gets tricky. Will it be Azerbaijan or will it be San Marino? Because then we follow the streak of qualifications: Azerbaijan, San Marino, either of them, I think, and then Albania qualifies, Netherlands qualifies. So definitely four in a row might not be, you know, it might not be the case that all four of them qualify. So either Azerbaijan has to go or San Marino will not get enough votes from the public. Let's see. If it was down to jury, San Marino would be out for sure. Azerbaijan would be in, but there is no jury in the semifinals voting. And that means anything can happen. Anything can happen Tuesday, May 13th. So those are my thoughts on the first semifinal. Stay tuned for the second semifinal. I want to discuss with you how that one goes. Do write in the comments who you think will qualify. Do write who you think is not making it through, and who you doubt about and who you hope to qualify. Fingers crossed. And I will see you in my future videos. Thank you for being here. Bye.